Once upon a time, there was a little boy of the age of about 7 walking in the woods somewhere in Iceland, and he heard a far cry of someone screaming and yelling. It looks as if the gentleman, much older, had fallen into a pond that was frozen ice. And the man was literally drowning, and the 7-year-old boy, just without hesitation, dived right into the pond and began to haul the man up with all of his strength and his might. And in some miraculous way, was able to save this man's life. The rescue team came all the way to Iceland. They found this gentleman and they took them all to the paramedics, the hospitals, and everybody in the media wanted to understand what exactly was it that allowed for a 7-year-old child to be able to jump into a pond without even hesitating to risk his own life to save someone much older. So the media moguls were asking questions and trying to figure things out. And the little boy answered simply and said, I guess there was no one around to tell me that I couldn't. And that's why I dived in. So this is the premise upon which I'm going to speak to you all today. Sometimes you have to just drown out the naysayers in your life, even those who love you, who want to caution you to restrain yourself from the bigger dream that you have for yourself. Sometimes you have to go beyond your own expectations and fly, even if you have no wings. So, by virtue of what I'm about to speak to you about, I want you to understand that we all are very individual and very, very unique people with idiosyncrasies that define who we are. But at the heart, we are all simply just like the 7-year-old boy who plunged into the frozen pond to save the life of another. Are you going to be courageous and follow your dreams and your passions with fervence and also with dedication and commitment? Or are you going to cower and let others drown out all of your dreams and all of the things that you aspire to be in life? The question that I ask is rhetorical, and I want you to think about it very deeply because the reason why you have been created this way is because you're simply the best, just as you are. We have the far extension of a Richard Branson, who's eccentric, a power mogul who's seen as eclectic, who's also seen as adventurous. Then on the other side of the spectrum, we have a Bill Gates, who's a very conservative, introvert, private individual. So you wouldn't have to change anything about yourself to be successful. Success lies within and buried within every single one of us. And you have to simply believe that you have the right combination, the right key to achieve all of your dreams and aspirations, just as you are. People sell all the dreams and say, if you just spoke a little bit more and were more eloquent, you could get a promotion. If you were just a little bit less reserved, you'd be able to succeed in life. No, that is not the case. You would not have to enhance. You could improve upon certain traits that you'd want to enhance, but you would never have to go out of your way to go to the far end of something that you are not to follow your dream or your goal. So my presence here today is simply to assure you that there is nothing wrong with what's happening today. Every morning that you wake up, you are given a second opportunity or a final opportunity at life, if you may say so, and it's called today. And as you go through today, you are creating and predicting your own future. You have to be very careful who you ride the wave of success with, who you put in that particular sailboat as you ride the storms of life. You have to be mindful of those who do not clap when you are winning, those who are not able to enjoy or embrace the good things that happen to you and always expect the very worst to take place. You have to be able to see beyond what people say, what people do, and what people even think in their minds about you. You have to carve your day, chart your path, wake up in the morning and say, this is a day set out for only me. I'm going to make the best of it regardless of my circumstances, regardless of my income, regardless of my everything, and make the very best of it. So that when I come back and I go to bed, I know that regardless of whatever is going on in my life, I have made the right decisions. So I'm here today to simply share with you certain things that I think are very important in the way that we chart our paths in life. And first of all, I would like to say, when you wake up in the morning, you can say after me, I am a winner. Say after me, I am a winner, regardless of my challenges. I'm a winner regardless of my circumstances. I am a winner regardless of my disappointments. I am a winner regardless of my past. I am a winner because I have limitless possibilities daily. And if you believe in that mantra on a daily basis, you will look at life differently because everything has been already preordained. No need to worry yourself with a particular schedule, particular plan. Just go with the flow. And a very popular artiste, Miles Davis, once said, never regret making mistakes because there are none. There is nothing like a mistake. It was meant to happen, bound to happen, and it will define who you are by either teaching you a lesson or making you a better person or simply giving you a better quality of life. So it's all based on what you choose to look at. You see, we are what we see. Two people look at a picture, one sees beauty, one sees horror. And it's based on our environment, it's based on how we grew up, it's based on our upbringing. So you have to tune yourself to understand what is necessary in terms of what you look at. It really has nothing to do with the problem at hand, but more so to do with your response and your reaction to what you're going through. And that is why they always say there's popcorn that pops with oil that's burning, but they pop at different points in time. Why don't they pop all at once? Some pop within 5 seconds, some pop later. You may be about to pop later, and you have to believe in that. And sometimes when the going gets very tough and it looks like there's nowhere to turn, or there's no one to speak to, the God that you serve is not really working as hard for you as you'd want him to. You have to believe that it's all within his plan to make things the very best for you, and he knows best. So for that purpose, even if it's challenging, it's for a worthy cause. Even if it's tough, it's to toughen you for the journey ahead. And Robert Frost has a poem, The Road Not Taken. I enjoyed reading that in literature classes when I was in Achimota Secondary School. And The Road Not Taken simply stresses that we may take the road not taken by virtue of our own choice. And by taking that road not taken, it takes us on a whole different journey altogether that we have to embrace because we made that choice. And you have to believe in the fact that you are responsible for the choices that you make. So I'll share a personal story with you. Unfortunately, I don't know how to make this work. So the images that I wanted to show is actually, it's coming up. Okay, good. So you see the reflection of the feeble cat looking into the mirror, and the cat sees a roaring lion. Same way with us. It depends on what you see and what you choose to believe. It doesn't have anything to do with what people see when they look at you. They can see anything they want, but you have to know what you are. So, moving right along, we have an image of Maya Angelou. In America, a couple of days ago, I read that in her passing, she has now stamps made in her name. Maya Angelou was one of my role models because I love to write. Everybody on Facebook knows that I write all day long and don't do anything else but just express myself. But I've always looked up to her because she was very authentic and was able to channel a life from the very bare depths of despair to becoming a Nobel laureate in terms of her writing capabilities. And the second image has to do with a cat that's looking at its own shadow, and again, is seeing the presence of a lion as opposed to its own presence. So you can see yourself as bigger than you are. It is not arrogance, it is simply confidence. And as long as you don't abuse what you think of yourself, I think that you should be just fine. Next. Then there's this whole meme where it says, "Throw me to the wolves and I'll return leading the pack." It's a dare, and it shows that regardless of whatever is thrown at you, you will still succeed amidst the storm. So within marketing, I love brand marketing. I support real brands, fake brands. I made everyone laugh on Thursday. Whatever brand you're into, I'm there. As long as you believe that it's authentic and we can sell it for whatever the reason may be. So with brand marketing, you have to believe that market share is simply a competitive analysis aspect of making a difference. Mind share and heart share are more so important because, I'll give you an example. If your mother drank Milo or used Omo, you end up using those products not by virtue of the fact that they are superior to the next. You use them because you simply feel that you're comfortable with those by virtue of the fact that you have either top of the mind awareness or you feel within your heart that it's a product that you trust and you can use. So mind share and heart share go a much longer way than market share that has to do with competitive analysis. Secondly, in order to succeed in life, you have to be able to create strategic relationships. Not identifying people that you can use, but identifying people that can use you. And once they know that they can benefit in their lives by affiliating themselves with you, by virtue of whatever it is that you have to offer, they then will be comfortable enough to expose what it is that they have within them to support you. It has to be a give and take with the premise on the give part versus the take, because the givers are the ones who are going to end up being the receivers. Finally, you have to also be able to leverage your interpersonal capabilities with individuals and understand that every single person is important. If you place importance on only your career, when you're sick in bed and unable to go to the office, I don't think your career can physically take care of you, bathe you, take you to the hospital. No. It's just a paycheck or it's income coming in. The value must be placed on the people. And if you place value on people and you're able to understand how important they are, they will then direct you towards the goals that you set for yourself. And so people then become, of essence, the most important aspects in one's life. In conclusion, this is simply a methodology, an MO that we can call a dream management kind of methodology, where you first within yourself define what the problem is. You go beyond that to develop a research plan, as in what it will take to solve that problem, whatever the problem may be, whether it's within a work environment or a personal one. Then you collect analysis and also analytical information on the steps that you need to take to build either a business case or solve your problem. Moving right along, you should be able to present your findings, if not to others, to yourself. You should hold yourself accountable to the project you've put in place to define the problem and bring it to solution. And finally, when you get to make the ultimate decision of what your next step should be, you, by virtue of that, have become your own dream maker for your dream management plan. And then if you succeed in everything that I have said, and you believe that you are your own winning team, you will not need another person on board to validate who you are or what your thoughts are. You would simply need to believe in yourself and the right people by virtue of the law of attraction, and also by virtue of the fact that when you believe and inspire yourself with positivity, the right things also move towards you in your direction. And I would end by saying that you try and find the book. If not the 48 Laws of Power, you try and find Jack Canfield's The Secret, the Success Principles that I've read at least about 14 times. And the Success Principles simply lay out what it takes to be a successful individual without making it a very difficult task for you, but involving and incorporating your personal identity and persona as it relates to who you are, introvert, extrovert, or whatever the case might be. So ladies and gentlemen, this comes to the end of my presentation. I believe that I have spoken about my authentic thoughts and hope to inspire you to also believe in your best self. I will end by saying that we all go home encouraged and inspired to be the very best that we can be, because even if you don't believe it, there's no one else on this planet of 7 billion people who holds the same name as you do, the same location of birth, the same identity, school track, educational route, whatever the case might be, as it leads to who you are. So begin to believe in your identity, begin to analyze yourself, leave others alone, and spend time getting to know who you are and what your best step or best effort should be in life. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.